much. Breaking overnight, two historic announcements from Pope Leo at the Vatican. The Pope has released a manifesto calling for regulation of artificial intelligence and for its developers to work for common good rather than profit. The Pope has called AI the biggest challenge facing humanity today. Also this morning, the Pope made an apology for the role that the Holy See played in legitimizing slavery, going further than other popes in history.
All right, guys, welcome to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about this story from the Pope going after AI. Now, in this next video, we're going to be showing you it's actually his actual words, what he has to say about AI. And I got to say, I completely agree with what he's saying here.
Yeah, makes sense. We'd appreciate if you'd subscribe, like, and share. It's a huge boost to the channel.
And together to find the way for humanity in this time of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence already touches many areas of our lives and affects decisions that shape human coexistence. It is also dramatically changing how war is waged. And teachers who are deeply concerned for the future of younger generations. Other very troubling voices have also reached me about increasingly autonomous weapons systems, practically beyond any human reach to govern them effectively. I hear very troubling accounts of algorithms that can block access to healthcare, employment, and security on the basis of data tainted by prejudice and injustice. Decisions likely to generate new forms of exclusion and suffering. Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity.
I'm Protestant and not a big fan of the Catholic Church, especially the Vatican and the organized version, but I'm going to agree with someone when they're saying something correct, and he's absolutely on point. Here's what we have going on, and I'll try and make it super short. You've got AI, the part that is like an MRI. It can match millions of samples in split seconds. Then you've got AGI, or artificial general intelligence, which is where we're at now. And then the final stage, ASI, or artificial sentient intelligence. From what I'm hearing, and Matt and I have sat down with John Lennox, who's like on point with this and one of the most knowledgeable guys we've ever talked to. Once you get to ASI, no human is controlling that. It will outthink everybody on the planet at once, and it will make decisions based on how it was programmed. And that is where the problem lies. We have a lot of these systems being programmed to be neutral as far as life and the importance of human life. And with a system like that plugged in and in control of everything, with all these new data farms going up, supplying it with unlimited, electrical energy and ability, we could very quickly end up in right out of the movie Terminator. And so that is the real fear. Now, the Pope's talking about like weapons systems, but that's part of it too. Autonomous weapons systems that are making life and death decisions. But ultimately, the machine may just decide that humans aren't worth it. And therein lies the whole Terminator.
I agree with you for the most part, but I think general AI is actually just as dangerous when it comes to jobs and economic reasons for especially individuals. And really, it's pushing Democrats and the United States and also the West to go further to the left, in my opinion, because people aren't going to be able to keep their jobs and keep the income they were getting before because of the competition against AI. They can't compete. And so now they're talking about universal basic income. This is something that's dangerous to me because then at that point, you're reliant on the government for food and for money. And at that point, that means they control everything about your life. And, like WF says, You own nothing and be happy, and that's really part of it. And AI, I think, is a significant part of that idea as well, and pushing us to that direction. And that's the reason I think it has to stop immediately now. If you see Hollywood right now, there's massive amount of layoffs there. Not only with just people talk about people that do generated like backgrounds and stuff like that. That's bad enough, but there's also people losing their job because of sound, but all over the place in Hollywood, editors, so on and so forth. And the reason is because it's cheaper to use AI. You don't have to have any issues with sexual harassment, HR, nothing like that. And that's also the problem with robotics and so on and so forth. So it's leading down the path of, in my opinion, where we're going to go more and more towards socialism. And that's a scary part for me. But anyway, guys, we're going to go to the next video where CNN's talking about this. And let's say I was surprised about how actual reasonable and understanding they are with the Pope on this one. Let's go and check out the video.
Endorsement. One other thing, he likens it to the Tower of Babel.
Sure.
Not everyone's caught up on that story, but obviously the basics. Humanity tries to build a tower to the heavens to be equal to God before the project collapses because God says, no, thank you. You're going to speak different languages. That is the Cliff Notes, folks. Don't quote me. What do you think he's doing by bringing this story into this today?
I think he's making a very clear reference that, in fact, that Silicon Valley does think it's building God. I think that that's actually the original sin of Silicon Valley in Pope Leo XIV's mind. If you recall, the Garden of Eden, the original sin being that creation, Adam and Eve thought they were God or could replace God. And I think he's saying that we're actually facing the same battle again and again. But to Sarah's point, the longest part of this document is not economics. It's not theology. It's war. He's very concerned about the use of AI in war. And I think that's why Christopher Olah is here today. I think the Pope appreciates that Anthropic stood up to the Pentagon.
Okay. As always, Chris, thank you so much for being here. Sarah, thanks for jumping in.
I actually think the Tower of Babel is a good analogy for this compared to what Kevin O'Leary did when it comes to what he had a conversation with Tucker Carlson on AI, the invention of the car. I'm sorry, but the car created more jobs than the buggy would ever do. Not only that, it saved horses' lives in the long run as well, and they have a better life because of it. The thing with AI, it's going to take more lives than it'll actually save, and it'll take more jobs from people. Thus, like I said, it leads us towards socialism and communism, which is the way the left wants us to go, and that's the reason they're not completely against this.
Yeah, this is a catch-22 because the country that develops the most sentient AI first will rule the world. But the other side of that is, once that sentient AI is developed, because of the flawed and fallen nature of man and the way they programmed it, we have no idea what it will do. And I mean, that's not just me, but John Lennox, Elon Musk, pretty much everyone in the know is saying the same thing. Once we reach that threshold, we are not in control anymore. So you balance being the power in the world and our desire to do that with potential extinction. I don't know. I think it's time to draw back. Unfortunately, the box is open and Pandora's out, and where we go from here, if we look at human nature and our tendency towards doing evil, I don't think this ends well.
I agree with you. The problem with AI, more than anything else, it doesn't understand context at all. And, I think the problem is what needs to happen now needs to be unplugged and reformulated where it's a tool, where the human being's not a tool for it. And that's the way we're leading towards. But guys, this is the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed. Please hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody.
Thanks for being with us.